days. You want to see the good part about this, my friends? Look at this. Look how soft that beef is. Look how soft. Wow. Wagwan, wagwan, what's great? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. And thank you very much for stopping by. My name is Chef Adrian Morris, and you're watching Morris Time Cooking.
We know about sardine, mackerel, chicken neck, chicken back. Nothing I waste, nothing I dash way.
So in today's video, I'll be showing you how to perfect restaurant-style beef stir-fry. Here are a few of the ingredients that we're going to be needing, right? So the first thing I have here is some bone broth. You can use chicken broth if you have that. We have water right here, just regular tap water. We have granulated sugar. We have light soy sauce. We have oyster sauce, a little bit of sweetness. We have cornstarch. We have hoisin wine. We have sesame oil. And the star of the show, we have some baking soda. So right here, I'm going to be using 4 ounces of beef flank steak, right? This is a cut that comes from the belly of the cow, closer to the hind legs. So nice and tender where much work is not being done. So this is a tender piece of cut, right? And we're going to be using some olive oil, salt and pepper, of course. So for vegetables, I have here about a dozen of sugar peas, nice and juicy and sweet. I have here a carrot. I cut a small carrot and use half of that, and I put them in nice julienne strips. I have here some green bell peppers, some yellow bell peppers, red bell peppers. So in total, this is about 1 small bell pepper. We have here 1 small zucchini, and I cut everything again in julienne strips. Over here, I have 1 small white onion, sliced again, and 2 garlic cloves, a little bit of scotch bonnet pepper. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using as much. And then we have some florets of fresh broccoli, right? This is not a lot of broccoli. Again, vegetables can be subjective to the amount that you may want for this recipe. But without further delay, let's get right into it. This is going to be a very detailed video, so just watch and see how I get this done. So I'm going to go in my water in this bowl, cornstarch, and don't worry about the amount. I'll leave it in the description. I'm going to leave a little bit of the cornstarch back. Some baking soda, black pepper, a little bit of olive oil, and soy sauce. Give that a mix to incorporate everything. So this is going to be for our marinade. This is how you get the perfect, nice, soft beef. You realize these little lines right here? You call those the grains, right? Or you call them the muscle fibers. What you want to do, you don't want to cut the beef like this. You don't want to cut the beef across like that, because you're going to have long muscle fibers. What you want to do, you want to cut them to the side like so and shorten these muscle fibers. So I'm going to cut this in half. Alright, then I'm going to cut this in strips. So again, you don't want to cut it like that, because the muscle fibers are going to be long, which will cause the meat to be chewy. Now we want to make the muscle fibers shorter, which will result in a much tender cut of meat. So about this thick. I'm not going to go too thin, not too thick. Alright, so stir fry style. Yeah, alright. So that's it for the meat. Gonna give that a quick rinse with a little bit of vinegar. I could have done this before I cut it. Add some water. We'll just rinse it, because you know it was in the store. Others were touching it with their hands and stuff like that. So give that a quick rinse. Again, you can rinse this off before you cut it. So vinegar helps to remove any debris and stuff like that. I'm going to throw this off, add more fresh water to rinse off the vinegar taste. Some more fresh water, rinse, pour this off, and now we're going to marinate. Alright, that's nice and clean. Once you get the meat clean, the marinade that I made earlier, we're going to add that over the meat. In Chinese cooking, this is called velveting. What this does, is to protect the meat so that when it hits the hot wok, it doesn't dry out and get tough, right? Think of this as the skin that's on a fried chicken that keeps the meat under the skin moist. So this is preventing the meat pieces from drying out. It's like a coat to help protect that, right? A little bit more cornstarch, because the cornstarch is what's going to help us to bring this together nicely, right? So add a little bit of cornstarch to that. Yeah. So that's what that looks like. It's nicely coated. It's like a butter that's on here that's provided by the cornstarch, the oil, and the oyster sauce to give it some seasoning, right? Spread that out a bit. We don't want them touching each other too much, so that when it's time for us to stir fry, they're not sticking. For our sauce, I'm going to go in with my brown broth. Again, I said you can use chicken broth or vegetable broth. Light soy sauce. My Shaoxing or my hoisin wine. Oyster sauce. I'm going to go in with the sesame oil. I don't like to use too much of this because it's very potent, the flavor. Dash of white pepper in. Nothing too crazy. And then that white sugar. You know, when you're doing stir fry, you need a little bit of sweetness, right? And we're just going to give that a mix. You can give the sauce a taste to see if you need to adjust anything. Beautiful, it needs nothing. This is our sauce. We're going to set this to the side. So remember that cornstarch that we have, it's about a teaspoon or less. We're going to add some water, about a tablespoon and a half. And we're just going to mix that out. This is going to use to thicken our sauce, right? But I don't want to add that directly to the sauce itself because I don't like when the sauce is too thick. But when you do this, you have more control over the thickness of your sauce by just adding in a little at a time and watch as it gets thick. So that's it. You want to do this in cold water so it dissolves properly. I have here my wok. We're just gonna heat that up to high temperatures. Once our wok is heated, we're gonna heat that with some oil. I'm using olive oil here, about 3 or so tablespoons. And then immediately I'm gonna hit that with the meat pieces. We're not gonna do this for more than 5 or so minutes, not even. I'm gonna do half the amount because again, we don't want this to overcrowd the pan, the wok, and then start steaming. High temperature, quick cook. This is why we say separate them so that they don't really stick. Alright. About a minute or so on each side, or two. Getting a nice color on them. So once you achieve this color, you want to remove them. So there we go. About 2 minutes or so, not even. We're going to go in now with our second batch. So there we go. That's what you want. Quick and easy, about 2 to 3 minutes. Straight in now with our vegetables, starting with the onions, peas, broccoli, and our carrot. Working at high heat. We're not going to add any more oil. This is sufficient. While that's going, I'm going to hit it with the garlic. I don't like to mince the garlic too much because I like to be able to have a better look. So I'm just going to, you can chop this before, cut it like this. So if I don't want it in there afterwards, I can take it out. But when you mince the garlic, it burns easily, as well as it's not good for presentation. So about that is good. Just want to get the flavor from it. Just a little bit of scotch bonnet pepper and then the remainder of our vegetables. This is smelling good. If you don't own a wok, you can also use just a regular pan if that's what you have. But the wok goes a long way. So put the zucchini and the bell peppers last because these things cook very fast. Alright, bring that to the center of the pan. So we're going to introduce the sauce. You want to give that a stir first. We're not going to be using all of this, probably about half the amount. Just going to go in on the sides, just so we get the sauce toasty. Yeah, going to go into about half the amount of that sauce. Ooh, this is smelling very good, my friends. Real quick and easy. Once you get the mise en place, which is your prep, out the way, you're good to go. Here comes our cornstarch. We're going to introduce 2 teaspoons first because we don't want the sauce to be too thick. Mix that up. And then we're going to go straight in with our stir-fried beef. Ole, look at that. And in about 2 minutes time, this should start getting thick and ready to go. Once the sauce coat the spoon, it should be good to go. Woo. And there we go. This is perfect for me. Perfect. We're just gonna kill the heat. Look at that, my friends. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh my days. You wanna see the good part about this, my friends? Look at this. Look how soft that beef is. Look how soft. Wow. You see that? Beautiful. Stir fry. Yeah, man. Look at this. Look at this meat. This is the meat, you know. Look at this. Yeah, butter. Come on, son.
I'm gonna eat some beef stir fry. I don't like the broccoli too much or some of the stuff, but maybe the rice and this and maybe some of these vegetables might actually taste good. So I'm gonna see.
So what do you think about it?
Bro, there's so much.
Try the meat by itself, yeah?
That's good.
What do you call good?
Good. Like, it's just good.
Meat and the rice.
Can we get together?
And vegetable.
Yeah, let me get all the elements. This. Get some rice with it. And with, yep, get some. Ooh, all of that.
Try it out.
That's not bad.
You like it? You know, love vegetable. Alright. Little bit of sweetness. Meat is velvety. Hence the word velvety. Come on. My youth, so if you eat the vegetable, you see meat alone now? Eat vegetable. Leave a thumbs up on the video, leave a comment below. And say if you love my vibe, don't forget to hit subscribe. Jano, try it out at home. You won't be disappointed. Once again, thank you very much for watching. You see, until next time, safe travel upon the gravel. And go and big up on yourself.